What if I told you the world's largest drug cartel isn't hiding in Colombia or Mexico, but sits in a presidential palace backed by generals in golden uniforms, billion-dollar gold mines, and a terror pipeline stretching from Tehran to Texas? Welcome to Venezuela, the cocaine capital of the world and headquarters of a criminal empire with global reach. If you're into geopolitics, true crime, or just want to understand how Venezuela became the most dangerous mafia state on earth, you're in the right place. Today, we're unpacking how the Venezuelan regime evolved from oil-rich democracy to a full-blown narco-dictatorship. We're talking military cartels, gold smuggling, Middle Eastern terror networks, and fake passports flowing into Europe and the US. And here's the kicker. It's not just corruption. It's a strategy. A global web of crime that's rewriting the rules of power. So let's get into it. Venezuela didn't just fall. It was hijacked. High-ranking military officers, especially from the National Guard, turned into kingpins. They run what's known as the Cartel of the Suns, named after those shiny sun insignias on their shoulders. These guys don't look like drug lords. They look like parade generals, but they're moving hundreds of tons of cocaine every year to the US, Europe, Africa, everywhere. And they're not doing it under the table. They're using state-run airstrips, government planes, and diplomatic immunity. Former intelligence chief Hugo Carvajal, he was extradited to the US for trafficking. Diosdado Cabello allegedly controls the entire logistics arm of this drug superhighway. And Nicolas Maduro, he's not just complicit. He's on the DEA's most wanted list with a $15 million bounty on his head. But it's not just cocaine. That's only one revenue stream. There's also gold, lots of it. Deep in the Orinoco mining arc, you've got military-backed gangs bulldozing rainforests, poisoning rivers with mercury, and digging up billions of dollars in illegal gold. Since 2016, over 200,000 hectares of forest have been wiped out. Entire ecosystems gone, and indigenous communities are being enslaved or displaced in the process. Where's the gold going? Smuggled to Brazil, Turkey, the UAE, laundered clean, and sold on the open market. In many cases, illegal gold is outpacing the country's legal exports. This money props up the regime, funds repression, and fuels more corruption. Now let's talk about the alliance that takes this whole operation to a new level: Iran and Hezbollah. Since the days of Hugo Chavez, Venezuela has aligned itself with Tehran, not just diplomatically, but operationally. Between 2007 and 2012, weekly flights from Caracas to Tehran and Damascus moved cash, weapons, and drugs. These weren't commercial flights. They were known as Aero Terror. They lost millions of dollars on paper, but they served a darker purpose: building a shadow alliance. In 2024, Mahan Air started landing in Caracas again, signaling that this air bridge might be back. Experts suspect it could be transporting ballistic missile components or even nuclear tech. Hezbollah? They use Venezuela as their Western Hemisphere hub. It's a base for laundering, recruiting, and logistics. One of their key players, Tariq el-Aissami, former vice president of Venezuela, has ties to the Assad family in Syria and was central to these operations until he was arrested in 2024 for embezzling $21 billion from Venezuela's oil company. That's billion, with a B. But it gets even darker. Iran has been exploiting Venezuela's ID system, forging passports, birth certificates, and driver's licenses. That lets operatives move across borders as Venezuelans, no questions asked. These fake identities have been found in Europe, the US, and across Latin America. And then there's the Tren de Aragua, Venezuela's most violent gang. They've expanded beyond borders, showing up in Colombia, Chile, and even the southern U.S., with murders tied to them in Texas in 2024. Over 7 million Venezuelans have fled since 2014, creating one of the largest refugee crises in the world. Most are innocent people seeking survival, but hidden among them are gang members, smugglers, and international operatives. So here's the big question. How did this happen? The short answer: the Bolivarian Revolution. Chavez didn't just build a socialist state. He built a parallel intelligence network, fueled by criminal enterprise. The goal? Undermine U.S. influence, destabilize neighbors, and spread a new model of authoritarian control. And Maduro? He's not the architect. He's the errand boy. The revolution lives on in Nicaragua, Bolivia, and anywhere else this network can sink its claws. In 2025, the situation reached a boiling point. The U.S. deployed warships off Venezuela's coast. Ecuador designated the Cartel of the Suns as a terrorist organization. Guyana demanded international action. And momentum is building to finally label Venezuela a state sponsor of terrorism. This isn't just a Venezuelan crisis. It's a global threat. The regime's fingerprints are on cocaine in American cities, gold on global markets, and terror cells operating in broad daylight. It's a mafia state with nuclear ambitions, trafficking networks, and ties that reach from the jungle to the Kremlin. So, what do? First, share this. Knowledge is our best weapon. If this video opened your eyes, pass it on. Second, drop a comment. Should Venezuela be labeled a terror state? What should the international community do? Third, subscribe. We've got more stories coming that connect the dots even further. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp.